Their Academy, start your UX design career here. One of the most common questions that's asked by those junior designers or someone want to learn design is about tools. Which tools do I need to learn to get a UX design job? This is probably the most common questions that I've heard. And in this video, I want to give you a very clear answer. If you just need a short answer, there are just 3 tools you need to use: Figma, Miro, Zoom. But as a UX designer, we always need to know why. And if you stick to this video, you will know why we need to learn those tools and what is the reason behind it. Let's check it out. Right, so speaking of tools, I think at first we need to have a bit of understanding of what are the activities that a UX designer need to do. So as a UX designer, we need to find out the problem we need to solve and communicate with the team, with your client, or even with your customer about the problem and have it really cleared. And then you need to explore some competitors' solution and also explore some concepts that you can use to solve this problem and ideate those concepts with yourself or with the team. And then you work on the concept and make it understandable, usually by visual, like user flows or wireframes or even paper prototypes. And after that, you test those solutions and get a result and iterate it and until you find this is the right solution. And then you start to build the hi-fi design to make sure that the engineers are able to implement your design into a real product like an app or a website or other types of the products. So this is the high level flow of how a UX designer will work. And if we decipher this flow into 3 types of the activities, there are research, communication, and design. So this actually the 3 major steps. And for research, we need to talk to our customers and we need to synthesize all the findings in one place. And also you need to communicate with your teammates or with your clients, and then you will have a aligned goal and also you will have a plan. So this is about research. So it's not only to do some Google search, it's basically including talking to your customers, clients, and also do a proper affinity mapping of all the findings that you collected, which means that you need a visual whiteboard to do that. And also it should be online and shareable with other team members. So that's why Miro is one of the core tools that for UX designer you can use. And there are many alternatives for Miro like FigJam, and even Apple released a new tool called Freeform. So this is kind of tools that you can start to use. But why I'm suggesting Miro is that it's quite popular for large companies. And also it's not only useful for UX designer, it's also many product managers and product owners get used to use Miro a lot, and marketing team also use it a lot. So that's why I think if you want to just find one research tool to learn in the early stage of your design career, choose Miro. And the second step is about communication. Speaking of communication, I already mentioned that you need to talk to your clients, talk to your team members and all the things, and you need to do user interviews to get the findings. So those are the things pretty much online. And I mentioned Zoom as one of the options, but you probably, if you understand communication, what communication means for a UX designer, it's basically not only Zoom. You probably need to learn how to use proper email or Slack to communicate with your team or with your clients. So this is about communication. And if we expand this part a little bit bigger, it might necessary to have some proper documentation of the work that you've done or the findings you've got from the research. So this is also part of the communication. If we expand that, it could be including Google Slides, Google Docs, or other communicating tools. And number 3 is about design. So what I mean design here means to deliver your ideas and findings in a visual way so that the team can start to build the product. So first, you need to create those artifacts such as user personas or the user flows or the wireframes, those diagrams. So it's definitely visually show how it works. And in the later stage, you need to design those on-screen experience. So which could be specifically what it looks like on your product, on your screen. This product looks like. What's the color? What's the typography? Where is the button? And where is the next step that customer can tap? So those are the things relevant to visual. And in that case, Figma is your go-to tool. So this is already the industry standard tool for every designers, every UX and UI designers to use. And before, there are other alternatives like Sketch or Adobe XD, but now Figma is the only one that you can learn. And there are so many available resources on Figma community that you can use, plugins, other templates or other things, and the best of it is free. So yeah, just go to grab the Figma. And speaking of that, people might mention that, oh, I can use FigJam to replace Miro. Yes, you can, and it's really helpful. And also, if you work with a small team, that's probably a better choice. But again, for some large companies, and also if you have multiple teams, including marketing and product, and those people probably more familiar with Miro. So that's why I suggest Miro rather than FigJam. Right, those are the 3 types of the activities that a UX designer will be involved. So which means that 3 tools: Miro, Figma, and Zoom that I recommended. And there are also something relevant to Medium. Of course, if you get used to some research like text heavy research, for example, if you just graduated from school, or your previous experiences about like copywriting or a lot of literary learning or other things, so you probably get familiar with the text focused tools such as Google Doc. Yeah, it's also available for research or other tools. And for designer, especially if you have a graphic design background and you're more get used to those visual oriented tools such as Photoshop or other tools. And yeah, just be flexible, and it could cross over. These 2 types of mediums could cross over. So don't push too hard, like I need to learn something graphic at this stage. Because if you're doing a research job, you probably only need to get used to really good using using Miro and Zoom. Probably that's all. Right, I hope this video is helpful, and then you can have some ideas that, oh, what are the tools that I need to use if I want to start my UX design journey, but also you know why I need to learn those tools. And one more tip is to focus on those fundamentals, because again, there are so many different tools. Speaking of design, like we might have Figma to do the proper design, and we might need deliverable tools like Zeppelin or other tools, or like prototyping tools to make it interactional. So those are the things quite overwhelming. But again, if you just focus on the basic stuff, research, design, communication, am I really good at least one tool in each domain that I mentioned? If yes, okay, you probably already get the fundamentals correct from the very beginning. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.